It's so eerie here after the skeleton crew evanesces and I'm left to nostalgize in the darkness. For some reason I'm flashing, or more like dimming, to that time I was suspected of foul play at a mountaintop observatory. Don't you hate it when that happens? It all started en route to lunch in Pasadena. My henchman, under the influence of a patent elixir, accidentally drove directly into NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in La Cañada, Flint Ridge. We found out the embarrassing way that non-authorized parties aren't welcome. Undeterred, the next time we got out of the conveyance, it was over a mile up the San Gabriels at Mount Wilson Observatory. I tell you, when my henchman's head is in the clouds, it's over the clouds. What an amazing view. Mostly of mountain peaks and, way below them, the clouds. Great weather above the weather, to be sure. Turns out they only give tours on the weekends, but we hadn't planned to visit the Mount Wilson Observatory anyway, so we could hardly be disappointed. The place was pretty much deserted, and I won't say anything so self-incriminating as that we trespassed, but we did get to see inside the biggest telescope dome. It didn't get weirder until we were walking back down the mountain toward the parking lot. We got rather oddly questioned by a couple who were dressed as tourists, but who asked such pointed questions that we had to assume they were undercover security. The man asked us if that abandoned tripod near the restroom building was ours. No, I said, our tripod is right here with us. He studied our faces in an awkward period of silence, as if reading our truthfulness. That's strange, he said, for someone to leave a tripod there. Again, he stared at us. Did we arrive on those motorcycles, he asked. We shook our heads no. Were we in that Jeep? Nope, our car's down in the lower lot, I answered. I was giving him more information than he was entitled to, but expert interrogators have a way. I was probably partly making up for my henchman's refusal to offer any information at all. Of course, now we knew that this wasn't merely a concerned tourist, because why would a tourist be cataloging the cars in the parking lot? Did we encounter an old man wearing a hat and glasses? Yes, we passed by him on our way toward the telescope. He was walking the opposite way. I found that question even weirder because we had seen the old man half an hour previously, so this interrogator seemed aware of everyone on the mountain over a period of time. We had initially seen the presumed owner of the abandoned tripod too. He was taking photos of the clouds below where we first parked, and we last saw him at the Midpoint Pavilion where they sell tickets and refreshments on weekends. I had actually been wondering why he didn't make it to the Echo Rock viewpoint, with the best view of the big dome on the cliffside. If he came all the way up there for photos, that was the prime spot. So apparently, he had disappeared off the radar of the observatory security. It actually is rather disconcerting and unlikely that a photographer would forget his tripod, but mainly we felt as though we'd been plopped into some sort of mystery story or even horror movie with a discrete cast of characters. In a horror film, the old man would be the harbinger archetype. Was my henchman the protagonist? That word, doesn't mean hero, but rather first important character. All I know for sure is that our interrogator's cologne and perfume smelled too fresh for 3:30 p.m. on a hiking trail, so it's unlikely they were tourists. As we walked away from the two-faced couple, I rolled my Tibetan divinatory dice across my palm, and the reading was Yama, the god of death. My spine tingled all the way home, which accidentally involved driving through this entire San Gabriel range. Patent elixirs don't necessarily wear off quickly. Mountain passes don't have exit ramps, it turns out. 8 hours after we'd left for lunch, our bread baskets still empty, we ended up at the Oak of the Golden Dream in Santa Clarita, which, in our ignorance of California history, we'd never heard of. But we learned that this highly unusual tree was the site of the first gold being found, kicking off the gold rush. The plaque said that Senor Lopez fell asleep under the tree, dreamed of floating on a river of pure gold, then awoke and pulled up some wild onions that had gold flakes clinging to their roots. His was the first documented discovery of gold in the state. We felt enriched, if not monetarily. My henchman did find a lucky rock, though, painted gold with the word lucky on the top. But perhaps it wasn't a lucky day for all peak experiences. That questionably abandoned tripod really is quite mysterious, and one recalls that in better times, the tripod was the bronze altar at Delphi upon which a priestess uttered oracles. So many things seem to be occurring simultaneously. We can be over the clouds, in the clear, as unfathomables play out. Did you know the word bludgeon is of unknown origin? It's a dark contemplation. Ah!